What is going on, my peoples? Welcome back, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining our brother today to react to this educational video, should I say. Feel free to check out the Twitch and Patreon in the description down below. You already know the vibes, man. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I still look crazy with this little band right here, covering the little broken part on my beats. I might have to get a new headset, depending how you guys, does this look crazy? Do I look crazy? Don't have your boy Strac looking crazy on the tube, man. Here we go. We got 50 words Australians pronounce weird. American versus Australian pronunciation. 50 words my American behind will definitely be pronouncing weird. Oh, and you know that. Let's jump right into it, baby. Shout out to Tristan Kun. I hope I said his last name right. It was like K-U-H-N. Is that Kun? Please forgive me, Tristan, if I said it wrong. Original video link will be in the description. I feel like I said it right though.
Emu. E-mew. Emu. 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 Emu.
Emu. Emu?
Mew. Moo. Mew. Moo. Mew. Ah. Emu. What is good, y'all? Tristan here, and today I am back with a new video. We are talking about 50 words that Americans and Australians just pronounce differently. As you can tell by the intro, the first word that Americans and Australians just pronounce differently is emu. So Americans pronounce it emu, Australians pronounce it emu.
Wait a minute. Okay, emu. It's that meh. Emu. Emu. I see what you did there. Emu, like a cow, and then we got emu, like pew. Like, you know how somebody say pu or pew? There we go, man. I'm understanding it.
I did a video where I said emu, and y'all just about lost it in the comment section. Everyone going after me for saying emu wrong or saying it the American way. It was actually that video, me saying emu, that kind of helped inspire this video. I had a bunch of you reach out to me saying that I should do a video about words that are pronounced differently. The first one to reach out to me was a subscriber named Craig, so shout out to you, Craig. But Craig, when he reached out to me, he sent me about, I don't know, 5 to 10 words that we pronounce differently. One of them being his very own name. He said, the way I say it, just have been saying it, Craig, is wrong, or not how they say it in Australia. In Australia, they pronounce it Craig. They really emphasize that A, Craig. Whereas in America, we just kind of pronounce that name as like as if it had an E, like C-R-E-G, Craig. Anyways, those are the first two, but we got 48 more awesome words. So here we go. Number 3 is Puma, or as they would say it in Australia, Puma, like the cat or the apparel company, or there's a petrol station line, kind of like 7-Elevens here in Australia, called Pumas, or they say Puma, like a little gun, like pew, pew, pew. I don't know, that's what I think of when I think of it, but yeah, pew, pew, Puma. Number 4 is buoy, or as they say it in Australia, boy. Like
oh, I thought he was gonna say boy. That's how I say it. Okay, number 4, buoy. Did I say that right just now? Yeah, I seen B-O-I, and I just assumed, because that's how I be saying it sometimes. Boy.
The little thing that floats in the water, we pronounce that buoy. Here in Australia, they pronounce it boy. Like boy and girl, kind of, yeah, same thing. Oh, boy. Before I say more of these words, I just need to make a quick, disclaimer and say that not all Americans say this, the American way, and not all Australians say these words the, Australian way. I ran this video, this list by a couple Australians. There was, 4 or 5 Australians. Not all of them pronounced all the words the exact same. There are a couple words that, a couple of them said it the American way. There's actually, 1 or 2 words on this list that I say the Australian way, but...
So what I'm hearing is that there's no correct way to say these words then. If Australians are saying the American way, you know what I'm saying? Here we got Americans saying the Australian way. Alright, let me stop being ignorant. The proper way is the Australian way. But we got Australians saying the American way. If you watch this video right now, did you happen to pronounce any of these words differently? And did you happen to be Australian?
In general, I think most Australians say it the Australian way, and most Americans will say it the American way in terms of this video. Alright, there we go. That was the disclaimer. Number 5 is Nutella. This yummy stuff. Americans, like me, I would pronounce this Nutella like it's...
That's different. As an American? Word? I forgot he's American, right? This is crazy. Nutella? I've never heard anybody say Nutella unless you're from, Baltimore. You know, they got that accent. They be like, what you doing? I gotta go school. You know, that's their accent. That's how they actually speak. That's that Baltimore. Maybe he's from Baltimore. I don't know where Trisha is from. Trisha, if you ever come across this video, please let a brother know, so I'll go crazy. I say Nutella, you know?
Nutella. Here in Australia, they pronounce it Nutella, like a nut. Yeah, Nutella. Nutella. Number 6 is the popular card game Uno. In America, we pronounce it Uno. It's kind of like the emu one. Uno. Here, it is more pronounced like Uno. Number 7 is...
You know, And my whole time I've been living on this earth, I've never thought to say uno that way. You know? I'm talking about I've been on this earth for 22 years. You may think it's a long time. You may think it's very little. That's enough time to have enough time to think about saying that word differently. I mean, all the different type of words I done thought about saying differently. I never thought of that. Uno. We grew up on uno. Nobody ever said you know.
Caramel, or as it said in Australia.
You know. I like that. Hey.
Here is more pronounced like you know. Number 7 is caramel, or as it said in Australia, caramel. 8 is tomato, or as it said in Australia, tomato. Number 9 is a crazy one. It is this stuff that you like put over food and whatnot. We would call it in America aluminum. Here in Australia, it is aluminium. 10 is the apparel.
Let me see that word. Aluminium. Aluminium. That makes so much more than sense. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Aluminum. Aluminum. Because we say aluminum, that's excluding the I. Aluminium. Man, y'all saying things proper.
Aluminum. Here in Australia, it is aluminium. 10 is the apparel company. In America, we would pronounce this as Adidas. However, here in Australia, it is Adidas. One thing
Adidas?
Note real quick is a lot of these differences in pronunciations.
In some other countries, it's Adidas. That's why I guessed that. Adidas. Isn't it Adidas in Germany? Isn't it Adidas in Germany? That's different. So Australia is different as well. We say Adidas in Germany. What did you say?
Australia, it is Adidas. One thing I want to note real quick is a lot of these differences in pronunciations are like they come from England, and so a lot of these words that Australians say differently to Americans, you could almost make this whole list and say English people also say these words different. Not for all of them, but as a general rule of thumb, you could say it for most. Number 11 is this car company right here. So we would pronounce this in America as Nissan. However, here in Australia,
in the U.S., we got a stereotype against these cars. You see this car on the road, you leave them alone. Them in the Altima. Oh, the Altima. Oh my gosh. Oh. Don't people just don't care. Whoever drives a Nissan Altima. Oh. I'm sorry to bring that up. But it's a stereotype out here in the US. They some crazy drivers. We got the Altima drivers, and then we got the Maxima drivers. You don't want to mess with them. There's a stereotype on the road, like they got nothing to lose. If you catch somebody in that car, you leave them alone. Because 9 times out of 10, the stereotype fits.
Australia, it is pronounced Nissan. Number 12 is this, I don't know, breathing, respiratory condition, whatever you want to call it. In America, we call it asthma, and in Australia, it's pronounced asthma. We kind of say it more like a Z sound, like asthma, where here it's more like an F sound, like asthma. 13 is
you got that right.
This plant, we would call it oregano in the States. However, here in Australia, it is pronounced oregano. This plant right here, I would pronounce this, or Americans would pronounce this as basil. Yeah. However, in Australia, it is pronounced basil. This nut right here, me and most Americans would pronounce this as pecan. However, in Australia...
Everybody come from different households. Everybody come from different states. Everybody got different slangs. You know, everybody come from different hoods, trenches, and whatnot. I'm saying pecan. Let me put some pecans on it, man.
Australia, most people pronounce this as pecan. Now, number 16 is kind of an iffy one because I actually naturally say this one the Australian way, but I've heard it both ways in America. So that is apricot or apricot. So apricot is like the American way, but I've always pronounced it apricot, which is how like everyone in Australia pronounces it. Number 17 is fillet, or it's fillet if you're American. Here in Australia, they pronounce it as fillet. So it is a fillet.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see this on the menu, I always go, fillet. Fillet? Like, that's literally what it says. But I felt like it was some type of... I don't know. Like, you know how people say certain things in French and just to make it sound more, I guess, fancy? Stuff like that? Bougie, not even a word, but I really want to say bougie. I was trying to think of another word. That's why it took so long. Filet. I thought it was like, you know, make it fancy. It's not, we're not making it fancy, we just saying it wrong.
Fillet of fish or fillet of fish. Fillet, fillet. Now the next two are just letters, but that is the letter Z, so I pronounce it Z as I just said, but in Australia they pronounce it Z. The next letter is this letter. H is that I would say it. However, and like some people in Australia do say H. but a lot of them here pronounce it H, like H. 20 is leisure, so me and like every American pronounces it leisure. I've never heard it pronounced any other way.
Leisure.
However, I came here to Australia and they pronounce it leisure. The next two are countries, so Iraq, we pronounce it Iraq, here they pronounce it Iraq. Like we say I, they say Iraq, Iraq. Same thing for the next one, which is Iran, Iran. Yeah, just a minor difference. 23 is fragile, or it's fragile if you're American. Here in Australia, how they say it is it's fragile, like they say aisle, we say oh.
A lot of people say fragile out here in the US. Me, I'm not one of them. I say fragile. I say everything wrong. Best believe I'm not saying some of these words right, guys. There's a lot of words out there I'm probably not saying right. Fragile. It flows off the tongue better. I can't. There's certain words that I actually have a hard time pronouncing, and people are like, wow, yeah, I'm a country. But they don't understand the simple fact that we come from different states and stuff too. We have different accents. We pick up different things. We're used to saying things a certain way. Our tongues probably got a hard time trying to fix what's coming out of their mouth. I'm trying to say what you're saying. Let me say it the way I say it. You know what I'm saying? Because I sound awkward. Fragile. Uncomfortable. Is that how you say uncomfortable? Like people that say uncomfortable, it just sounds awkward for me. As uncomfortable. You comfortable? It flows off the tongue.
24
you know
is missile, or as they would say it in Australia, missile. And 25 is military, or as they would say it in Australia, military. America, military. Australia, military. Now 26 is going to be the most controversial of them all, because not all Australians, I would actually say most Australians don't say this word this way, but I've heard of a couple say it, and I'm telling you, it is so wrong. It sounds, of all the ones, this is the most triggering for me. I hate it when people pronounce this word this way, and that is vitamins. Like, did you take your vitamins this morning? You know, it's healthy to take your vitamins. Some people in Australia, I don't know why, but
we added an E. See, that's the thing about us. We be adding unnecessary letters, bro. Where the E coming from? I'm saying, though. Vitamins. Where you getting the E from? Vitamins. Let me see.
Pronounce it vitamins. No, it can't be. It's not vitamins. That just sounds so wrong. All these words that I've said, not one way is right over the other. They're just different ways of pronouncing words. But this one, I'm gonna stick by it and say vitamins is right. Vitamins, it just sounds wrong.
I don't know, bro. We can't be. It do sound wrong, but we can't be adding an E in there, man. It don't got an E. It originally did not have an E in it. We can't add that. Like I said, you come from different places. I'm gonna forever say vitamin. 27.
In America, we say garage. In Australia, some people still say garage, but a lot of people here also say garage. That one seems to be about like a 50-50 split here. It's kind of like there's an American way to say it and the English way to say it, and in Australia, they kind of, I don't know, they kind of do both. 28 is this lovely striped animal right over here. I would pronounce this, Americans would pronounce this as zebra. However, in Australia, they pronounce it zebra. 29 is mobile, or as they would say it in Australia, mobile. 30 is a crazy one because when I first heard it, like, I thought it was a different word. I didn't realize that they were saying the same word, just pronouncing it different, but that's cordial or cordial. So yeah, in America, we pronounce it cordial, whereas here in Australia, it's pronounced cordial. 31 is advertisement, and the difference is like which syllable you stress. So in American English, we would say advertisement, and in Australian English, you say advertisement.
I say advertisement. Adver. Like it's just ad and then A-V-A, and then tisement. Advertisement. That's how I say it.
Advertise. It's like there's more emphasis on the vert part. When we shorten that word, we refer to it as an ad, like, oh, did you see the Super Bowl ad? Whereas in Australia, when they like shorten that word down, they shorten it down to advert. So like, oh, did you see that advert? 32 is depot. So yeah, Americans, we pronounce it depot. In Australia, they pronounce it depot. 33 is this.
Why not depot? Why not depot? You know, nobody was thinking that?
Fragile little thing that you put flowers in. So we would pronounce it in American English as vase, whereas here in Australia they pronounce it vase. So the way we say it, it rhymes with like face. Like
I've always say vase. It's a vase.
Your face, vase, face. Whereas here it is vase, as in like face. Like it doesn't phase me. Phase, vase, face, vase, phase, vase. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. That's gonna be, yeah, you get it. Vase, screw it. You got it. You got it already. 34 is adult, or as they would say in Australia, adult. 35 is mom, which they say in Australia as mum. But that's also English influence, but this is kind of more than just a different pronunciation because we spell it M-O-M, and here in Australia they spell it M-U-M, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know if they pronounce it differently or if it's just a different word, but yeah. mom. 36 is premiere or premiere. So in American English, we would say this word as premiere, Australian premiere. I kind of like the way Australians say it more. I think that sounds more right. So premiere. I kind of like the way Australians say it more. I think that sounds more right. So yeah, premiere. 37 is herb, or herb. I just said it the Australian way. In American English, herb, you just don't pronounce the H at all. And in Australian English, it is herb, you do pronounce the H. 38 is scone, so this thing right here.
Herb? You know, until you actually think about it, I was like, wait, forgot it had an H in it for a second. Who you say herb? That's crazy.
We pronounce that in American English as scone, whereas in Australian English, it is pronounced scone. 39
what happened to the E then?
Car brand right here. So in America, we pronounce this Hyundai, which everyone tells.
Hyundai. They got Honda, Hyundai, Hyundai. I done heard it all. Yeah, people call this Honda. This doesn't even look close to Honda, so they must be out their mind. Hyundai. I don't like pronouncing this. Like with this car brand, Hyundai. I say Hyundai. I know a lot of people say Hyundai.
It's wrong, it probably is. So we pronounce this as Hyundai. Here they pronounce it as Hyundai. Americans
Hyundai. Okay.
Make it like 2 syllables, like Hyundai. Australians 3 syllables, Hyundai. Now 40 and 41 are quite similar, but that is semi. So yeah, we say this word as semi, like with the I, we say I at the end. In Australian English, they would pronounce it semi. Semi, but yeah, I know some Americans who say it the Australian way, the semi way. In similar fashion, we have anti and anti. Americans, hard I, long I, whatever you want to say. Anti, Australians, anti. And similar to anti, we have aunt or aunt.
It doesn't flow off the tongue saying anti. Anti. Give me anti. Yeah,
like it goes. Americans say it both ways, but I've always said it aunt, like your aunt and uncle. But there are.
Wait, aunt? I've never said. Oh, I'm thinking of like the little. That's how I look right here. It said aunt. I say aunt. Y'all say aunt. Aunt. Oh, let me see.
Some people in America who pronounce it aunt. Here in Australia, everyone pronounces it, or at least everyone I've met has pronounced it aunt, which honestly kind of makes sense because like. I don't know, your aunt isn't like an aunt, like she's an aunt. 43 is entrepreneur, so I've always pronounced this entrepreneur. In Australia, they pronounce this entrepreneur, so like entrepreneur. 44 is niche or niche, so in America, again, Americans say this.
I say niche, but I know the proper term is niche, but like again, the flow, I say niche.
Both ways. I've heard Americans say niche, I've heard Americans say niche, but it's pretty common to say niche. I myself have always said niche, but in Australia, no one says niche. It is niche here in Australia. 45 is this spice right here, so I would pronounce this as
turmeric.
However, in Australia,
spice. Man, I wash my face with that. Turmeric soap is a spice? Turmeric soap is a spice? It gotta be 2 different things. Turmeric. It's not. I think it's 2 different things because it's 2 and then M and then ER. Ick. This is turmeric. Okay, I think it's 2 different things. I was about to say, but it's the same color and everything. I wash my face with turmeric soap. You know, turmeric soap is the bomb.
They would pronounce it as
good.
Turmeric, like you have a tumor. Turmeric. You get it? Real quick, guys, I just want to say I hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, please make sure you give it a big old like and maybe consider subscribing. You know, don't have to, but I really do appreciate it. And if you like these types of videos, I got a whole lot more videos of like comparing like America and Australia and talking about the language differences. So if you want to see those, I will link them all in the description below. Back to the video. 46 is bouquet. So I say bouquet, but like a soft O, bouquet. Here in Australia, they would pronounce it bouquet. A bouquet of flowers, bouquet of flowers, bouquet.
You guys really get that U in there. You guys really get every letter. I can't do all that. Yeah, I can't do all that.
Bouquet. 47, I don't know if it's necessarily a difference in pronunciation, but it's kind of like a word, but also pronunciation. So if you have an animal, like a dog, that is your pet. And your pet likes it when you pet them. Or that's what we would say in American English. You would say you pet your pet.
So you gonna pet your pet. I mean, you can say pet, but he just made it sound like it doesn't make sense. I'm thinking about pat your pet now. That make way more sense.
You pet your dog. We use the word pet as a noun and a verb. Here in Australia, they don't do that. They would say you pat your dog. You pat your cat. I don't know if you really pat cats, but you get it. They would
pat it. This is more of a pat, and this is like a stroke if you just get the playing with it. and this is like fluffy. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
You pat your pet, we would say we pet our pet. Now these last three all kind of have to do with how Australians pronounce the R sound at the end of a word. So
I can't pronounce the R. I don't pronounce the R at the end of words, if you guys noticed. Like, it's kind of hard flowing off the tongue. So I kind of replace it with like A. Like for instance, say you got copper in your hand. That right there is very uncomfortable for me to say. So if we were having a conversation, I said, yeah, I have some copper in the bag. I'm going to sound like that and sound awkward. You see, that didn't sound crazy to you? Despite, copper. I got copper in the bag. I can't do that. Despite it's the proper way of saying it, I just can't. I flow off the tongue. I got copper in the bag. Copper. There we go. Copper in the bag. And people could still understand me. I got copper in the bag. What? I mean, it's kind of difficult for some people. And then they ask, where are you from? And then it's like, oh, I guess it's like an understanding. Or it's like oh, yeah, that's why he speaks like that. I don't know.
They just don't really pronounce it. So, for example, we would say car, where here in Australia it's just like car. Like, they hardly say the R. And this goes for, like, a bunch of words. Like, any word that ends in, like, an IR, ER, AR, in Australia.
Hey, Chicago, they say car. Get in the car. Get in the car. They don't even say the R. They say get in the car. I just say car. Yeah.
Just kind of how the accent is. They just say So, like, doctor, butter, better, better. The R is not really pronounced. Well, these last two, it's kind of a question for you Australians.
Doctor. Butter. Butterscotch. Butter. I'm telling you, guys, I've been understood my whole life, so it just led me to think I'm saying these things the right way. If I speak to you in public, if I come to Australia, would you guys correct me, or would you, like, kind of accept it? I mean, it kind of accept it. I can't help what state I'm saying, the way we say things and what flows off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? That's like me telling you to say something the way I'm saying it. But would you understand me? I've never had anybody, question. Would you say? Wait, I've never had anybody say, would you say? Like, it's not that diverse, but I've had people be like, how'd you say that? Wait, say that word again? But they usually smile when they say, like, wait, how you say that? Yeah.
It's going to be controversial, but I want to ask. These two cities, so y'all have Melbourne and y'all have Cairns. Australians love to get Americans a hard time for mispronouncing these cities. We call Melbourne, and we call Cairns, because there's like an R there. Well, my question for you is, are we actually mispronouncing these cities, or are we just saying them with an American accent? It's hard for me to say one way or the other, because, like, on one hand, I'm like, all right, like, whoever lives in that city gets to name the cities and, like, say how it's pronounced. So yes, it's Melbourne and it's Cairns. But then at the same time, I'm like, if the actual name of the city, if the actual name is actually Melbourne and the actual name is actually Cairns, it wouldn't matter, because the Australian accent just leaves the R off if it's ever in the last syllable of a word. So you would pronounce Melbourne, and you would pronounce Cairns. Let me.
Oh, he's smart for that. I'm not gonna lie, he's smart for that. He got me thinking now. I call on to that. No, I'm not gonna lie. W video, Tristan. I'm not gonna lie. This was.
Know in the comment section what you think. If you'd like to know anything more about Aussie slang,
I like checking out his content. I'm not gonna lie. I love it, man. If you guys enjoyed this beautiful video brought to us today by Tristan, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn all post notifications on. Original video link will be in the description as always, guys. So you can check out the original video and support the original creators as well. You know what I'm saying? As well, feel free to share any honest thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section on this video, or any words you would like to include that you feel a lot of people, not just Americans, but people around the world, say differently when compared to the Australian pronunciation. Let me know, man. Everyone stay safe. Feel free to check out the Twitch and Patreon. And I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.